Welcome back to Katene Report, where we dive into the interesting stories from Japan. Today, we're uncovering a growing crisis in Japan, how the massive popularity of the iconic manga and anime Slam Dunk is turning a quiet residential area into a nightmare for locals. Over-tourism at its holy site is sparking chaos, from dangerous photo ops to shocking acts of indecency. Let's break it down. This view. It's instantly recognizable to millions around the globe. This railroad crossing, near Kamakura Koko-mai Station in Japan, is the iconic holy site for fans of the legendary manga and anime, Slam Dunk. It's the backdrop for the famous opening sequence, where protagonist Hanamichi Sakuragi stands as the Enoden train passes by. Fans dream of recreating it, and since around 2013, anime holy site pilgrimage tourism, where fans of anime make visits to real-world locations featured as settings, backgrounds, or general inspiration for their favorite series, has been on the rise. Since its 90s debut, Slam Dunk has been a global phenomenon, but the release of the 2022 movie, the first Slam Dunk, sent its popularity soaring, particularly across Asia. In China alone, the film generated over 659 million yuan. This success has triggered an explosive surge in pilgrimages to this very spot. But there's a serious problem. Kamakura Koko-mae is a tiny, unmanned station built for local residents and high school students, not mass tourism. It's a quiet residential area, and its infrastructure, or lack thereof, is buckling under the pressure. On a weekday in mid-September, the platform was overflowing, more tourists than students. At the crossing, dozens of people were gathered. Despite the security guards' frantic shouts to stay on the sidewalk and don't go into the road, tourists repeatedly ignored them, darting into traffic for that perfect anime angle with the sea. Language barriers make it worse. Many don't understand Japanese and just keep snapping away. The disruption isn't just on the train tracks. We repeatedly saw vans and taxis, often with out-of-prefecture license plates, dropping off foreign tourists right in front of private homes. Residents are forced to navigate around these vehicles just to pull into or out of their own driveways. Local resident Naoko Horiuchi sums it up. Kamakura has many tourist spots, but this is just a normal neighborhood. We were living quietly, and suddenly, it became a major tourist destination. There are no public toilets, no trash cans. The burden is pushed entirely onto the community. Horiuchi said the situation is dire. People are dumping trash into private yards and bicycle baskets. With inadequate restrooms, the unsanitary behavior is shocking. We've had tourists urinate on private property, even defecate and smear waste on walls. There was even a tourist who stripped down naked and washed themselves with a tap in a public park. The residents are the ones constantly cleaning up. It feels like we are constantly having to clean up after them. It's gotten so bad that on August 25th, a serious incident unfolded. Horiuchi's middle schooler son spotted an illegally parked van and politely told the foreign female driver, "You can't park here." These taxis hide in residential spots to avoid warnings near the crossing. The boy even called to report it. But the driver snapped, took his photo, and threatened in broken Japanese, "I'll contact your school and spread your picture." Then, she revved the engine, sideswiped his bike, and sped off. The kid wasn't physically hurt, but the trauma left him shaken and unwell. The chaos has spread. About 400 meters away, a second crossing that offers a similar view of the sea and the train has become the second Slam Dunk holy site. Why here? Because, according to tourists, the main crossing is too crowded. Chinese social media is actively guiding tourists to this new spot, often showing maps to the nearby temple compound, Kinshoji Temple, which offers a perfect vantage point for photos. Tourists swarm, ignoring alarms to trespass on temple grounds for shots. Abbot Hiroaki said, "Tourists ring sacred bells without permission, leave belongings everywhere, and crows scatter their trash. And when we try to warn them about disrespecting the property." In May, during Golden Week, when an employee asked a woman to move her stuff, she shoved and threatened the staff. She was hostile and physically abusive. But even more shocking footage was captured by the security camera. Abbot Hiroaki said, "A parent stripped a child's pants and had them urinate into a plastic bottle right here. We caught them doing it. If we hadn't intervened, they would have likely just left the bottle here." This was not a one-time incident. It was becoming normal. Many bottles filled with urine can be found scattering around the neighborhood. But why the desperation? In late April, the public toilets at Kamakura Koko-mai Station, basically the only public ones around, were suddenly closed. The reason, according to the train company Enoden, frequent blockages due to foreign objects, destruction, and damage to facilities. An Enoden representative said, "People flush solids besides toilet paper, causing blockages. We've called plumbers repeatedly, but the mess was unreal, feces and urine smeared on walls. It became impossible to maintain." With the only public restrooms gone, the burden has fallen on nearby facilities, most notably Suzuki Hospital, right next to the station. Hospital administrator said, "We used to lend out our restrooms, but the misuse was too severe. People would unplug the electronic toilet seats to charge their phones. Once, we lent it to a woman claiming an emergency, and she walked out wearing a full wedding dress for a photo shoot at the crossing. We had to close the restrooms to all visitors, including Japanese, because it was disrupting hospital operations." But the worst issue is the persistent open defecation on hospital grounds, a problem that has dramatically worsened since the station toilets closed. The hospital's private parking lot, clearly marked for patient use only, has also become a free parking area for tourists. Reporters saw a family parked a white van, walked to the crossing, took photos for 30 minutes, and then returned to the van. When the reporter asked why did they park here, they claimed they were visiting a patient. Another van with an out-of-prefecture license plate was spotted. When the reporter confronted the driver, a Korean man, he admitted he was waiting for two tourist friends and said, "There was no Korean notice, so I mistakenly parked here." These problems are not isolated to Slamdunk site. Neighboring Shigarigahama, a holy site for the Bunny Girl Senpai anime, is facing similar issues, including open urination in parking lots. A resident saw a girl doing standing pees in a convenience store parking lot, while friends shielded her with their skirts. The city administration, the police, and the railway company are now urgently working on a solution. But the Kamakura City Tourism Division highlights a major challenge: how to reach the tourists. Standard platforms like Instagram aren't enough. They need to use the specific, domestic SNS tools like WeChat used by Chinese visitors to properly relay Japanese manners. Kamakura City Councilman Tatsuhiro Nagashima said, "I believe a more aggressive solution is needed. We should build a paid photo stage in the park next to the crossing. This would divert the crowds off the road. We can also install paid toilets and garbage stations in the park and use the revenue to maintain the area. It solves two problems at once." For anime fans, this is a moment for a memory. For the residents of this neighborhood, this is their daily life. As the disruption to their peace becomes unbearable, the pressure is on the local government to implement a fast and effective solution before this beloved holy site descends into total chaos. What do you think? Have you seen similar issues? Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching. See you next time.